Highlights are here, so let's rip through them. A high five for you, a headbutt for you, and more high fives all around. Celebrate a scoop and score. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro, and we're getting to the nitty-gritty, Joe.
Well, and you have to have some fun on homecoming night.
do?
You have to. And, you know, going in, the Cardinals knew last week, going into that was almost insurmountable odds that they could come away with a victory over a team like Maple Grove. But they had some highlights to take away. And I love the headbutt on the sidelines from a non-helmeted coach to celebrate.
It was, doppelgangers, Bill Hupp's doppelganger.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So the thing that excited me about it, Joe, is that the fact, even though it was against second and third teamers, the Cardinals won that second half.
They did,
14-7.
absolutely.
So that is some of the things you take out, especially at homecoming. And they were able to smile a little bit at the end of the game, and I like that.
And you just stole my thunder.
I'm sorry.
Just 2 games left for the Cardinals football squad on the road against Blaine on Thursday and hosting Farmington next Thursday. Last week was homecoming for the Cardinals, and they hosted one of the best teams in the state. Maple Grove came in undefeated, scoring more than 40 points per game while giving up less than 10. And believe it or not, Cardinals actually won the second half. Crimson were cruising by that point, though, because they were dominant from the start. This is the first play from scrimmage. Little screen pass to the fullback, Jeffrey Nordvold. He's got blockers in front of him. He picks up 42 yards, and Maple Grove is in the red zone. 2 plays later, they're in the end zone. James Engel takes the pitch left side, scores from the 13. Crimson on the board just over 2 minutes into the game. After a Cardinals 3 and out, Maple Grove marches down, and Engel gets his second score of the night in easily from the 2-yard line. Cardinals didn't have a first down in the first quarter, and the Crimson offense was rolling. Caden Harney connected with Nathan Romadka for 2 scores in the first quarter. First from 21 yards, then this one from 48. Maple Grove recovered a fumble for a touchdown on the final play of the quarter and was up 35-0. Cardinals get their first down early in the second. Nice look from Murtesa Muhammad to Braden Waldron. Goes for 31 yards into Crimson territory, but the very next play, Jeremy Oddie in a bunch of white jerseys, they pry it free. It was 49-0 at the half. But the Cardinals, they had 2 takeaways in the third quarter. That young man right there had the first fumble forced and recovered, then recovered the second and returned it 60 yards for the score. And then they get the touchdown from Joitsa on the run, their first rushing touchdown of the season. So yes, Howie, as you mentioned, 14-7 in that second half for the Cardinals. And yes, it was obviously against some second, third strings, but nonetheless. And they get a defensive score. Hudson Tatum, what a homecoming for this sophomore. He forces a fumble and recovers it the first turnover of that third quarter. Then the second one just kind of hopped right into his hands, and he took off 60 yards untouched for the score.
Well, I love the fact, the big smile on his face on the sidelines, kind of looking up into the stands, saying, I just did this. I had a scoop and score. So that was
homecoming night.
Homecoming. Very exciting stuff.
So they are at Blaine on Thursday, and then they will host Farmington next Thursday. A chance, an opportunity against the Tigers. Well, any given Thursday. They could.
Right.
Bengals are going to still be another tough team. They're
absolutely.
Top 10 team in the Metro. Tennis team wrapped up its team schedule with a loss in the second round of the section tournament on Tuesday last week, losing to Buffalo by a 7-0 score. They tried to stack the doubles lineup, hoping it would work out in their favor, and they did have a couple of those go to 3 sets. Newton and Easton teamed up at first doubles. Anderson and Smensky then dropped down to second doubles. They lost in a tiebreak 10-8. The combo of Ruddy and Lee at third doubles also kept close, but singles was pretty one-sided for Buffalo. The Cardinals had lost to them, I think, 5-2 early in the season, so they were hoping to show something, but also toying with that lineup, and that's what's left. I think Wayzata actually has already won that game earlier today, so they are in awaiting the winner of Maple Grove and Delano. So the top two
four
seeds.
teams
Yeah,
made it.
top 4 teams to the semis, and it looks like the top 2 are going to make it to the championship. Singles tournament starts next Monday, and we'll see. It'll be interesting. I have not heard from Coach Storick who will play where, but I think seeing both Caitlin Easton and Gabby Newton playing at first doubles in that Buffalo match.
Yep.
May be a hint that we may see them, and it may depend on, I mean, obviously they went to 3 sets, so wherever they think that they can have their deepest runs.
Yeah, it will be interesting. I always like to tinker around with it at the end. Well, the volleyball team wraps up the regular season this week. Last Tuesday, however, the Cardinals hosted border rival Blaine. The Bengals were a couple of games under 500, but they were having more frequent success, including 6 of their previous 7. So they would be a formidable foe, no question. Cardinals were not about to back down, and they played well early in the first. Great setup from Maddie Wilbur. She's able to hammer it through the block for the point. Wilbur was big defensively as well. Her dig keeps this point alive, and it's well played by the Cardinals. After Bella Nelson's attack is returned, they go to Lydia Foster on the other side. She finds the corner for the winner. It was tied at 8, but the Bengals ran away from there, taking the first 25-14. Bengals carried the momentum into the second, had a big lead early. Cardinals had their points. Another big kill for Foster here, but Blaine cruised to the 25-13 win. Cardinals tried to avoid the sweep in the third, and they have their best set of the night. Great turn-off serve receive here. Bella Nelson leaving no doubt. Cardinals scored their first 5 points in the third set, but the Bengals were determined to clean up on the Cardinals' court. They came storming back with all guns firing. Kaylee Whistler's kill in the middle helped the team catch the Cardinals at 10-all. Once they had the momentum, they were unrelenting. Cardinals tried to tip over the block, but the Bengals set up it for Bryn Keller. She crushed it. Bengals complete the sweep with a 25-17 win in the third.
Yeah, and it was fun to be there.
Yep,
you know, it's a team that, again, you talk about character building seasons, and they have not had a lot of success, but even down big in that second set, you never saw the shoulders slumping. You never saw the smiles leave their faces. Continued to battle, and it showed that they played their best in set number 3. On Thursday, they were taking on Osseo. Or was that? No, that was Wednesday. Sorry. It was on Wednesday. They hosted Osseo, and they lost in 3, 14, 11. And 18. They're actually wrapping up their home schedule tonight against the Chisago Lakes Wildcats, and then they will finish the regular season at Maple Grove on Wednesday. Hopefully by this time next week, we'll know what their schedule looks like for the postseason and whether we will be able to get in one more postseason
I'd love to be able to see them again before the season's over.
end.
Yep.
Well, the swimming and diving team is dealing with some illness and injury right now, putting added strain on an already small roster. Coach Ashley Radis would rather have it now than come section time, but it certainly didn't help last week against Andover. Huskies finished 3rd in sections last year, and while they lost a lot, they still clearly have a lot of talent and plenty of depth. Looking for their individuals to have big races for the home squad, Ellie Lewis led most of the 200 freestyle, and she's going to come up just short at the wall, having to settle for second place in 2 minutes, 15.60 seconds. Cardinals diving star was shining bright on Thursday night. Delilah Smith-Jeanette led the event from start to finish. 3 of her dives earned scores of 32.25 or better, and she came within about 5 points of her personal best for 6 dives. Saved her best for last, a forward somersault with a full twist in the free position. Scores a 34.20, easily in first with a 184.45. Ellie Lewis got out-touched in the 200 freestyle. No chance of that happening in her signature event. She left the field in her wake in the 500 free. She didn't quite break the 6-minute mark, but more than 25 seconds ahead of second place. Andover, though, swims away with this one very early. Final score, 104-73.
Yeah, and Andover's always pretty strong in the pool, for sure.
Well, and again, you take a team that only has 22 girls when they're healthy,
yep.
and you take out even 2 or 3 of them, including Lily Moulton, who has been one of their leaders, just an 8th grader, but she has been a consistent point scorer for them, and she was one of them that was missing. And I think she said it was 3, but she said
that's a lot for out of 22.
And in her email afterwards, she said there were girls that weren't feeling well that night that didn't finish the meet. So in some of the later events, they didn't have a few of the lanes filled,
unfortunately.
So hopefully they get over all of that in time for sections. That's coming up in just a couple of weeks. They actually have their first taste of tournament time this weekend. They host Anoka on Tuesday, and then they will host True Team sections on Saturday. Cross-country team did not have any competitions last week. We talked about it a little bit on Sportsnight last week. They do the Hoka 1 event at the stadium on Thursday nights. It's a time trial under the lights. They do some other fun stuff for homecoming week, and then we saw the boys deliver the football to the field on Friday night. I don't remember what the mile tally was. I think it was 12 total miles.
Something like that.
They ran from Maple Grove to Coon Rapids, but a really cool tradition. They have the Northwest Suburban Conference Championships coming up on Wednesday this week. I believe that's at Elk River. The Section 7 3A championships aren't until the 24th. That's at Anoka. And they have a couple of other events in the middle there, the JK 5K, and there's like one other, just kind of fun events to keep them in shape and keep them race ready.
Well, they need to, obviously. They want to keep running because they've got some important things down the road.
Well, the soccer teams are entering the section tournament this week with first round scheduled on Tuesday. Last week, wrapping up the regular season, the boys on the road for both of their contests last week. On Monday at Park Center, they lose to the Pirates by a 2-0 score.
Well, the Cardinals' final game of the regular season took them to Champlin Park on Wednesday. The Rebels had just 6 wins, but they were 3-1-1 over their previous 5, so they were clearly playing their best soccer of the year. The Cards, meanwhile, were trying to end a 5-game winless streak. Rebels start the scoring midway through the first. Block pass bounces right to Kafima Sano. He buries the shot in close, just the start of a huge night for Champlin's leading scorer. Nice goal there. We're going to move to late in the first. This one served in from the opposite side of midfield. Late jump for the keeper, and Sano gets there first. He taps it home, gives the home team a 2-goal lead to take it to the locker room. Well, that young man wasn't finished. He's going to pick up where he left off in the first minute of the second. He gets in all alone. He makes it look easy. He had 4 goals for the Rebels that evening. He does more than score. Check the back pass to set up Murdoch Rothermall. One touches it to the top corner. Rebels soaring into the post with a 6-0 win over Coon Rapids.
That was gorgeous. That was a gorgeous pass.
Beautiful.
Anytime the goal scorer immediately goes to the guy who set him up, you know it was a gorgeous pass.
Sure.
But yeah, 4 goals and at least 1 assist as the Cardinals lose 6-0 to wrap up the regular season. They did finish as the number 7 seed, and that means they're not having to go far. Number 2 seed is Andover, and so they will face off against the Huskies at 5 o'clock. Tomorrow, our friends from QC-TV will have the coverage, and we will have replay of it for you, of course, here on our station as well. Number 1 seed goes to the Blaine Bengals. They'll get Cambridge Isani. Anoka hosts Centennial, and Forest Lake will take on Duluth East in the 3-6 matchup.
Cardinals did play Andover to a tie earlier in the season.
They did.
So we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, and that's you have to be able to shake it off because the Cardinals now go in, 6 in a row without a win. Their biggest struggle to score has come at the most important time. So can they shake that off and get back to the way they were scoring first half of the season? You definitely hope so. This is the time to do it. On the flip side, Andover comes in really strong. I think they've won 4 of their last 5.
They're hot right now.
They will present a great challenge for sure. Girls soccer team we talked about last week had their first win of the year over St. Paul Johnson, putting up 13 goals. Well, they follow that with their second win of the year and a shutout.
6 goals.
No less against a conference opponent. 6-0 over Park Center. 6 different goal scorers. for the Cardinals. Think of that. Now you have 19 goals in 2 games, 11 goal scorers in the first game, 6 goal scorers in the second game. So spreading it around, it's awesome. Sophia Bakri and Brianna Wold each added an assist. Erolyn Yang Win, Bailey Rao, Addie Erickson, and Jenna Erickson, the other goal scorers for the Cardinals. Well, the Cardinals were hoping to keep their momentum going through the end of the regular season schedule. Last stop, Champlin Park on Thursday. The Rebels are definitely a beatable team as they only had 2 wins coming into the game. So both teams were looking to keep their momentum and head into the postseason on a win streak. Champlin Park gets on the attack very early. 7th minute of play, they get it out in front of Megan Collins down the right wing. She makes a great play to get back to the middle, then unleashes a laser with her left foot. Rebels are off and running. Just a couple minutes later, off a throw-in deep in the Cardinals' end, another left footer from long range. This time, Kaylee Lade puts it over the top of Aaliyah Williams. And that dam kind of burst after that. The Rebels have their biggest offensive game of the year against the Cardinals. Not even midway through the first, Sophie Blanchette in all alone. Champlin up 3 at that point. They led by 5 at the half, and it was 7-0 before the Cardinals finally break through. Cross in deep for the Cardinals. The body check on Caitlin Griffith out front. It's an easy call, and she converts on the PK just off the keeper's fingers. Cardinals avoid the shutout, but lose 10-1 and finish the season at 2-13.
Well, you know, it's good. It's nice they got a couple of wins at the end of the season to kind of give them a little confidence. Tough way to close, obviously, by giving up 10 goals, but it certainly wasn't easy, and they're going to have a tough matchup, no doubt, going into their first into the section. Yeah,
the Duluth East. You want to talk about a juggernaut? The Duluth East Greyhounds come in at 13-3. They have won their last 9 in a row, all by shutout. They have outscored their opponents 57-9, basically since about the 10th of September. So in the last month. They're 9-0, and they've outscored their opponents 57 to nothing. So it was, I think that was a no-brainer at the coaches' meeting that the Duluth East Greyhounds were going to be the #1 seed. Number 2 seed goes to Centennial. They will host Cambridge Isani. Blaine, the number 4 seed, gets Anoka, and Andover will host Forest Lake in the first round on Tuesday. And so we can't make it to Duluth.
No.
Unfortunately, so we are not going to be doing a first-round playoff match of soccer. However, there is always hope that there will be a semifinal for one or both of these squads. Yes. And if possible, CTN will do our best to get there.
We would love that.
We certainly wish all of the Cardinals, not just the playoff teams, but all of the Cardinals in action, the best of luck this week. So our next event will be on Thursday night. Cardinal football taking on the Blaine Bengals. And then absent a win and a possible semifinal opportunity, as we just talked about, we'll have the football team's final regular season game at home against Farmington on the 17th. And it's volleyball playoffs and football playoffs after that. But that will do it for this edition of CTN Sports Night. We want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young, saying goodnight.